Hello, I'm here, you're here, we are here, and it's amazing. To be in human form is a gift. It is a gift, it's an experience, and it's all an experiment. The human form is complex. We were brought down, we were brought down with spirit. Spirit is what allows me to speak before you now. Spirit is what gives you the breath of life, feelings, emotions, love. The ability to feel is your spirit. The ability to have emotions is energy in motion, emotion. So we can scale it back to saying that everything is energy, right? And when you really understand that everything is energy, everything in this existence is energy. A rock is energy. A bird, a tree, the grass, the air you breathe, the words coming out of my mouth right now is energy. And it comes from a creative place. That creative place is infinite. It's quantum, and it's energy that exists all around us. We are but just a speck of what really exists. We are part of something bigger, greater, massive, something amazing. And we are brought down here into a dimension where time exists, quote unquote, because time is actually, when you zoom out, the macro perspective of time, right, is actually an illusion, because everything exists at the same time. All the potentials, all the possibilities exist at the same time. Different frequency, different vibratory fields existing at the same time, all possibilities happening at once. Now, all those possibilities happening at once are different timelines, and those different timelines are all stacked on top of each other. When you have these stacks, and you can our third dimensional mind needs to comprehend this, right? So in order for us to understand this and really get a grip, a comprehensive understanding, right? To understand something is to actually get it. And a lot of times we have to repeat this over and over in our meditative practices. If you meditate, or if you live a meditative life or a therapeutic life, you're already there and you're at the right place. You already know a lot of things that I will be speaking about. But one of the things that I want to actually eradicate is the labels. But for sake of understanding, in order for it to actually be absorbed and to compute into our human brains, we will have to name certain things and give it titles and give it a label, right? Just so that we can make sense of things. And the reason why we want to make sense of things is because right now, humanity is in a state of panic. And that state of panic is fostering the light workers to come together and to start to speak, right? We work with light. I work with light. I know if there's darkness or lack of light within people, within situations, within different experiences, right? Within occurrences, within, it's in the nature, animal field, anywhere. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like person to person. It's just something that exists. And some of us are able to see that more sensitive than others. And I've always been that sensitive. Some words that actually come to mind, just to kind of give a little bit of a map, is hypersensitive individual, indigo child, star seed, light worker, way shower, right? Galactic. We're all galactic, but some of us are more sensitive than others. So then we were able to perceive and feel like subtleties in light form or energy. We know when something is a little heavier, vibrating faster, slower, like when something is more like condensed. Okay? And it's all tuned into frequencies. These frequencies have the power to literally catapult you from quantum possibility timeline to another. So you can see the different timelines, you can feel them. They all exist at the same time. You can literally choose to go into one timeline by mere choice. You ever hear the phrase, happiness is a choice? That's the choice for someone to jump into the timeline of happiness and not let anything disturb that happiness. That means on a daily basis, on an energetic, their state of being, they're living that timeline until where it doesn't even have to be a choice anymore. It becomes their life. And then what attracts to that timeline of happiness, right, is the perceiving, the perspective of just that high vibration, love, love right here, the vibration of music, dance, the vibration of even if something comes in and is perceived as negative by someone else, a conversation where you're resorting conflict can be perceived as a fight or toxic to someone else. To the person that's tuned into the frequency of happiness, can just see it as conflict resolution. That's just an example, right? Of course, you do have situations where someone actually is toxic. They're holding a vibratory field of a lot of heavy trauma, right? Deeply rooted core unresolved issues that they did not let out of the body, and you can feel it and you can see it in the body, right? You can feel when someone is just, it's like heavy chains, energetic, like this, boom, like you can see and feel it. The clairvoyant in me it's hard for me to explain using the English language, because I know that my star system, where I come from, we don't use a language at all. So I'm going to do my best in order to really convey the messages that come through. Yes, okay, I'm going to just go out there and say it. I've never been so happy in my life, even amidst this current 2020 virus. That is a real virus. It is a virus that's going around, and it's on the world stage right now. But I have never been so excited for the opportunity that this is actually going to lead us towards to a new consciousness that we've been needing and begging Earth Gaia to go through. We are ascending as a planet. We're literally shifting into another dimension, into another frequency, into another vibratory field. Everything is going to be different to anyone else. It depends on how much trapped trauma a collective has, communities of, families, you as a person, how much you have, right? But it's going to actually increase the light on some individuals that are going to choose to do the work. And that light is going to be increased because we're all going to feel our fellow neighbor doing the work, and we're going to connect with them because we're going to be in the same dimension. We're going to be part of the same realm. And the more we help ourselves, the more we help others. The more we help our partner, our boyfriend, our girlfriend, or what have you, or the more we can help the people that are closest to us, our best friends, our dogs, our pets, our loved ones, our parents, right? Our children. So these messages are important to get out because as a light worker, you need to start shedding this light. You need to start shedding the message, whether you know how to do it or not. I actually don't know how to do this at all. I've never pictured myself on the spotlight. I've always kind of like been behind the scenes because I like to create and produce from behind the scenes. But here we go. This is it. This is the opportunity. These are the times. I've never been so excited because it actually is an opportunity for people to get out their junk that's in their emotional body. That's something that is president, because we can now all feel. We can all be like, oh, you feel the fear of that virus? Yeah, I feel it too. Oh my God, we can actually bond through this, and we can get out our stuff that we thought no one had an ear for. Like now we can be heard. Okay, this is a cry for humanity to actually start to get rid of that garbage that has bogged us down for years, because we're taught to be unconscious. When we are born into a family and we get indoctrinated into this system, we're literally shown the ropes that are very on a physical level, not what our original star print, our original blueprint is not this system, right? And we just learn it. We go kind of like, go with the Joneses, and we think things are material and what you have to achieve in this life are all materially based, right? But then when you have an emotion, no one teaches you how to really sort that out, And a lot of times we just copy one another and we're like, okay, let's just party. Like, you know, you got a drink in your hand. I have a drink in my hand too. Yeah, let's just all numb ourselves. And if you really think about it, everyone's just really trying to be themselves and try to get out struggles that are in their emotional body that is hitting like conflict that is unresolved, a trauma that happens, or just not to keep using the word trauma, an opportunity for integration. That's all trauma is. Trauma is an opportunity to integrate. It's to not ignore those tears, right? And we've been ignoring those tears for a while. We've been ignoring our emotions for a while. It's like the emotional dark ages have been going on for God knows how long. And this is an unprecedented moment. This year, 2020, March, beautiful March. And the reason why us as light workers need to really unify and start putting these messages out is because we are the way showers to attract more way showers and get together and find your tribe. Because you're not alone in your thoughts. This virus is just a catalyst. And there's no need to be like, oh, this is, government conspiracy. There's no need because it's necessary. This is the way that it's necessary. This is the way we increase our consciousness. We need to actually like cough out the garbage. And this virus is a cough out. It's coughing out the garbage via this. That's how it looks like. It's like, oh my God, we're coughing all the BS of being inauthentic and not being ourselves and not coming down with everyone comes down with a talent. Everyone comes down with a set of skills already, and we should be doing that. We should be doing what we already have learned in different incarnated lives, a certain skill, and we should be doing that. Right? And there's a lot of people living a lie right now. There's a lot of people going to jobs that they can't stand. There's a lot of people being in marriages that they can't stand. There's people living different lives that they're just told to live and they're not happy. So this is the purging out of that unhappiness collectively, on a collective level. And it starts off in little ways. It starts off, politics is an excellent example of seeing how that starts off, right? Everyone couldn't believe the president was elected. And now it's like we're seeing different perspectives. We're seeing, not to get into politics, but it's an example. It's a perfect example that we can all relate to. The world responded in such a negative way when he was elected, right? It's a calling, it's a crying out. But not all that you think is bad is bad. You have to pull out the positives from the negatives. We are all part of the same society. We are all socialized. And what socialization as a sociologist, as a social worker, what that does is in a lot of ways, it reinforces the forgetfulness that we are star children, that we come from the stars, that we come with an intelligence that's encoded in us already. We already have these light codes within our DNA. We come from higher dimensional structures, higher dimensional beings, and we're put into a human form. So just imagine being so advanced already. Most of us, some of us, already coming from a different star system. You're advanced no matter what, because if you were an animal or a rock in your previous life, then you're advanced if you come down in your subsequent life as a human. It's very hard to fathom that. And this would be more common and more normal and more, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, if they taught us this in the school systems that we are put into as children. But they don't. These are the volumes of your power. It comes from above. It comes from the light source God. So then it was like, okay, went from a consciousness star system, then it went down to even further and started to get like sharpening a pencil, right? Started getting more and more concise, and that vibration was like, okay, what do I want to be? Okay, then it chooses earth, right? Then it chooses earth, and it's like, okay, I'm a big ball of consciousness, and I'm going to split off and be a girl, and I'm going to split off and be a man, and then that's twin flame. But it sometimes goes into a soul group, and then it goes down into a certain specific chosen set of parents to learn a life lesson. That's why we go through tribulations in our life. It's not to actually suffer. Nothing is suffering. Suffering is just the perception of it. Suffering is just the ego. Okay? When the ego holds on to such an identity and you have to withhold that identity for all of your life, that is your ego holding onto an illusion. And you will suffer more. If this is what you were taught and you think, okay, this is the way to live my life. I am my ego. My ego is just an identity, right? But if you try to withhold that identity so hard and so strong, and that identity gets threatened one day, that is where you will feel emotional pain. Because you are not your ego. You're so much bigger than that. You're galactic. You're cosmic. You're cosmic. You're put into a tiny body. I mean, it's not tiny per se, but with reference to all that exists and all the 200, billion galaxies that exist, of the observable galaxy that have been discovered even, we're just part of one galaxy. We are a tiny little speck. I am a tiny little body compared to everything that's happening cosmically. I know it's not the times for such to wrap your head around this type of information. And I try my best because I am a human and I try my best to give it into human terms. But the way I always thought is just very fast and oscillating, and it's always been so zoomed out. That's how I was able to help myself with even some of my suffering in my life. And my suffering in my life, I was bullied, in high school, just, as an example, certain things like that were all little breadcrumb trails to this moment right now. I had to know what it felt like to be bullied. Because you're in a disempowered state when you're being bullied, because you are just not really emanating that frequency of power per se. But I did have power because I had a consciousness that was not at all, it probably was lacking in power, and I came into that moment understanding afterwards what I really needed to be emanating at the time, right? But consciousness at a mass level at the time was just not there, It just was not there. The awareness of be kind to one another within the circle of friends I had at the time, that little tiny circle of just, the awareness of you need to be kind to one another, was just not there. So that was a catalyst for my life to really go and introspect and to understand, because it hurt a lot, right? And it brings up a lot of emotions, like self-esteem and, what's wrong with me? Is something wrong with me? How come I'm not fitting in? And then you do the things that you need to do to fit in, because everything is about survival. I mean, the family alone is about surviving. You have to survive in that family, and the only way that you survive is getting love. Because if you don't have love, you are not going to be looked out for, I mean, if you are just a human being in this existence, we are social creatures. We are dependent on one another. We are a social species, and we need love. We're all hardwired for it. We're hardwired for it because it's in our wiring. It's what created us. It's the one thing that a baby needs is love. A lot of times we're put into families that lacks love. And we'll do anything and drop anything in our character that's in our authenticity in order to get it. So if my authenticity says that I work through my emotions, and if I have to go through an anger, maybe just 5 minutes of being angry in order go through the emotional scale of emotions and go back to neutrality. And if that anger is disapproved of, well, then I get taught, well, I'm not going to receive love if I ever get angry. So then don't ever get angry. But what happens as you grow into adult, that anger stacks and piles on top of each other. And then when you grow up to be an adult, you have a lot of anger, don't you? Because you were not approved of, and it didn't gain you any acceptance, and it didn't gain you love within your family structure. It just was something that was not allowed. And that creates a propelling momentum energy for your purpose here in life. For your purpose here in life is to figure out how to be your true authentic self by not abiding by those things that you were allowed and not allowed to do, by those aspects that you disowned within yourself. It's to come into completion, right? So that is a trauma right there, not being allowed to be angry. And what it does, that anger energy that was never allowed to be expressed, where is it going? Where is it going? It's got to go somewhere. And if it's not going outwards, and if you're not sorting it through and go through it, getting back to neutrality and climbing up the scales, it stays in the body and creates pockets, and a lot of times creates illness. And so if it's not anger, it could be anything else. I'm just giving an example. Very important to sort through your symptoms of emotions, because they are just symptoms for your body and your spirit to be 100% complete again. And every emotion is allowed, every single one. Not one emotion should be disapproved of. So a lot of times family lineage is being broken via the children that you have, so that it stops. Someone has to break the spell, right? Could be anger through generations of anger, of not being allowed to be angry, and then you're born into a family of just like this hidden, superficial, no one's allowed to show emotion ever. And that is your purpose, to figure that out in life and come out to love. Everything always points back to love, no matter what. That's why I have it here. I have it in several places. Just love, 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 love. I am Spirit Love Star. I mean, that's just the name, because we're spirit first. We're created through love, which is how we even got to this body, to figure out love. And we're stars. Spirit Love Star. Right now, with this virus, it's something that is an opportunity to go within, and you're not alone. Because fear has never been felt on the world stage as much as it has been multiplied and augmented to be felt now. So go within, love yourself, nurture yourself in the process. It's going to be and it has been already, with masses of people awakening to a higher level of consciousness, we're shifting. And in order to shift, you have to get rid of the junk, the emotional junk. And everyone's along for the ride, because it's happening. No one can choose whether they get infected or not by a virus. It's out there. What you can choose to be powerful is to take care of your body, boost your immunity, take your vitamins, do your meditations, and really feel those feelings that were so traumatic. Don't be scared of them, because it's you. So why should you be scared of you? I know that they're scary. They identify as scary. Being abused as a child was scary, but you have to go through the root cause of what could be manifested now in your adult life as an illness. Go through the root cause of the abuse. Really face it. Know that you are just the experiencer. You are not the experience. You are just an avatar going through an experience and coming out the other side and learning from it and seeing what it shows you. Because you are not that experience. That experience had an effect, but you have the power to put the pieces back together. You have the power to reclaim the aspects of yourself that were lost in those experiences of painful experiences. Because you love yourself. And that's what this message is all about. That's what this virus is all about. It's about love. Love is what everybody wants, and we always try to find it in another person when it's always been within. This is the message. It was always to love yourself, not to give away your power to another person. Because in order to love yourself, you have to love yourself in order to love another, right? And if you don't love yourself, how are you going to love another? The message is powerful. Very, very powerful. Love yourself first. And this is a catalyst to love yourself, and do that. Be gentle with your body, because right now the light that is coming in is going to get rid of what you don't need. And so it's going to make you feel tired. Because in order for light to come into a place that once had darkness, you have to get rid of the darkness. And so it's going to cause some body fatigue. All right, so be gentle with yourselves, be gentle with your family members, have compassion, understand that the ego wants to cling on to the things that were very familiar, even though it's the things that made you suffer. Understand that it's a cognitive dissonance, that you don't understand what's going on, but nurture yourself through that process, because all it is your cognition of years prior, of generations, even in your family. And for yourself, it goes back into decades of being taught one thing, but understanding that everything is changing now. So we're literally in a new reality. And if you keep holding on to the old reality, you are definitely going to suffer more. So always, everything is a now moment. Wipe the slate clean every day. Wipe the slate clean. Wipe the slate clean. Understand that you don't know. Comprehend things that your ego would like to reject, but really be open to it instead, because we are in shifting times. We're literally forced to change right now. It is a gift. And we can all do it. You can do it by yourself. It really is a change in consciousness. All you have to do is change your perspective. All you have to do is focus so hard with so much intent on what you want to see and feel instead. Don't try to analyze it and comprehend it and judge it and scientific proof and evidence. You just have to believe that it's changing. It's different. What you thought you knew wasn't the truth. Okay. It's going to take some time. Be like, well, that sucks. Why did they teach me that this was another truth when it was really this? It's fine. That's cognitive dissonance, when you can't really grasp that because it doesn't compute with what you know. Understand that you don't know. And embrace the changing times. And get excited, because Earth is going to love us back for this. One by one, we can make conscious changes in our everyday behavior as humans. We have to start loving each other more, loving ourselves more, loving our planet more. And one by one, if they just get it, that becomes contagious. And that is going to eradicate this hyped up virus. Okay? Because you are powerful. And as long as you are powerful and know that you're powerful and put all your focus in intention of your power, reclaim your power, that means let go of things that are disempowering. Jobs, boyfriends, girlfriends, situations. Let go of things that are disempowering. Go within and reclaim your power. Go back into that experience when you were abused as a child. As this is an example, reclaim your power. Say, no, that's mine. My heart deserves to be full. I deserve to be happy. Thank you for this lesson that it taught me, but now I'm going to go and motivate others. That's what I got out of that experience. That's what I got out of that disempowering experience that I carried with me for 20 plus years. Right? Now I'm going to use my voice to help empower others. Service to others. And it's okay if this doesn't resonate with you, it's okay, because it doesn't have to resonate with you. It just has to be something that you know that you're along for the ride, whether you don't want it or not, whether it resonates or not. The world is changing. The world is changing. And it's long overdue. Long overdue. So it's a little late. I did this message a little tired, but the importance of getting this out there is it's that important. So once I get a little bit more accustomed to these messages, maybe I'll get better lighting and I'll start editing more. But hey, candid, raw, and uncut. That's what it is. And I'm wishing that everyone just increase their perspective. Everyone start to think outside the box. Everyone start to understand that not everything that we were taught is the truth. Okay? That your power is harnessed within you. You have to start putting the pieces back together. Start loving yourself, right? Start loving others, having compassion, forgive. It's okay. Everything is an illusion anyway. People are just vibrating at different different frequencies, bombarding with one another, but it's their shit that they have to sort out. Just like if it's your shit, you have to sort it out. This virus is here so we could start to sort out our shit. That's what it is. Sorry for the foul language, but it's something that is no longer going to be put on the back burner. It's no longer going to be, if you remain a slave and asleep and you just don't want to understand anything but what you know, it's going to be a longer process. It'll still happen, but it's better to just jump on board with the rest of the way showers and understand that we are in new times. Doesn't matter if you're 15, 30, 70, 80 years old. Everyone is along for the ride. Everything's getting wiped clean. Out with the old, in with the new. And it's beautiful. You choose what you want. My reality is amazing. My reality, I'm excited about this. Take care of my body. I cry if I need to cry. Everything is glowing. Everything is glowing. Everything was always here at our fingertips. Everything was always here at our fingertips. We just have to get over we have to get over the illusion that we bought into via our teachings as a society, via being socialized. Right? Embrace the change, because change is here. Peace and love to all. I'm going to get some sleep. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you in another video where I feel inspired to have some messages come through me. Perhaps not so tired, but I embrace and appreciate, and it is an honor to begin to start to shed some light on darkness. Another now moment will appear, and then we'll see each other again.